Now, live, this is CBS 4 News at 11.
And first at 11, South Florida in the cone again as Gamma forms off the coast of Honduras.
The 24th tropical storm of the season is raising anxiety levels for those without roofs over their heads since the last storm.
And those who lost power for almost a month, they're wondering if FPL can handle another hit. Gamma is now in the Caribbean. It would only add insult to injury to an already weary South Florida.
The next couple of days could play out in one of several ways. CBS 4 Chief Meteorologist Brian Norcross is live in weather control with the scenarios. Brian.
All right, Maggie and Rob, the headlines of the late advisory tonight. Gamma is still expected to come in some form in our direction. The future track cone aims more or less right at us, but the storm does not look like it would even be as strong as it was earlier. So the bottom line here is, while the future track cone looks very much like Hurricane Wilma, the storm does not, and the weather pattern does not. It does not look like this weather pattern could support a very strong storm. Probably not, almost certainly not a hurricane, but that doesn't mean that we couldn't have significant problems around here from even a healthy tropical storm. Now let's take a look at the latest numbers as of the new advisory, which came in at 10 o'clock because we're on Eastern Standard Time now. 16.4, 85.8, still 45-mile-an-hour winds, but it does look a little more organized on the satellite picture. Hurricane hunters will be down in there overnight, moving more northwest at 5, so essentially drifting toward the Belize coast. 1,006 millibars, 175 miles east-southeast of Belize City. Now you see the track here, but this track assumes that Tropical Depression 27 continued and then turned into the storm. As we know, it actually kind of died out and was just a remnant, and then it redeveloped into Tropical Storm Gamma there, drifting to the northwest. And that northwest drift is not expected to continue terribly long, although much of the day tomorrow will move generally in that northwesterly direction, but then begin to turn to the north or maybe the northeast, and by Sunday evening be in the vicinity of Cozumel and Cancun, and they have tropical storm warnings up now to the Cozumel area. Now it could be well offshore, but it could be right over them where they got beat up so badly, much worse than we did with Hurricane Wilma. Now then it starts taking off and it starts moving really quickly, so that by Monday evening the National Hurricane Center is thinking it will be somewhere in our general vicinity. Now remember at Wilma we said the same things. I mean, it was exactly the same kind of future track. We said it could be up here near Tampa, it could be down here near Cuba, across central Cuba, or it could be in our area. But in the Wilma situation, the hurricane models, the computer programs that do the forecasting, really did focus on us in the southern part of the peninsula with a little bit of variation. But now there are many, many more questions. This is a much less well-established weather pattern and a weaker storm, and things are just not favorable for accurate forecasting with this storm. So there really are all possibilities here in terms of where the center of the storm goes. I'll talk more about that here in just one second. But in any case, it's in our general vicinity Monday evening and then speeding on away on Tuesday, and our weather is much better. Here's a satellite picture now, and we see that the thunderstorms, the deep purples, kind of move away to the north, and then new ones form down closer to the center, and there is the center just north of Honduras. But you notice that all the thunderstorms still are to the north of the storm. The reason for that, we can see it on the wider view. Look at these clouds here streaming out of the south and to the north. That means over top of the tropical storm there are upper level winds that are quite strong, and those upper level winds are the ones that are going to kind of drag it slowly to the north. But then a very strong, extra strong group of winds comes along and a dip in the jet stream, and that's what will finally propel it in our general direction. Where's that dip right now? Well, look at this on the vapor loop. You can see it up here. There it is right there, coming out of Canada. Very strong disturbance. It's going to push all the way down to the Gulf Coast and be down here late on Sunday. So there's the jet stream dip, and if we have a dip like this is the first scenario where Gamma is a fairly strong storm, and we have this cold front in the area here. If it's strong, then the jet stream will tend to drive it, so it would take a more northerly path and more likely be in our general area over the southern part of the state, interacting with that cold front. It's a very complicated weather pattern. But if Gamma is a weaker storm, then the jet stream becomes less important, and it's more the low-level winds that would more likely keep it over to the right, well to our south. But still, with the jet stream in the area and the cold front, we expect bad weather here on Monday anyway. It just really depends on how strong the winds are. In any case, it looks like it's not going to be a nice day, quite rainy and quite breezy just with the cold front. Now, Craig Setzer will be back with more and the South Florida forecast in detail, and I'll see you tomorrow here, so stay tuned and we'll just follow it as it goes.
Okay, thank you, Brian. We can't help but feel for those who lost their roofs in Hurricane Wilma and are now watching and worrying about Gamma. CBS 4's Evan Bacon is live in Country Walk. Evan.
Well, you know, when we first heard about this storm this afternoon, we all went, no, you gotta be kidding. It's gotta be a joke. Well, obviously, it is no joke. And the owner of this property, who had his gate ripped up from the previous storm, has the right idea. Don't do anything new at this point because hurricane season is not over until it's over. Take a drive through southwest Miami-Dade and you'll see that many homes have not yet recovered from a season of storms.
My AC is down. My AC's messed up with the lightnings and all that, turning on and off.
Blue tarps cover open holes in people's roofs, and now there's word that things might get worse before they get better.
Mold growing on top of mold, growing on top of mold, growing on top of mildew, growing on top of whatever.
This should not be happening to us in this day and age. All right, they go to the moon, but they can't fix a roof.
All eyes are turned to Tropical Storm Gamma. It might not pack the punch of a Wilma or Katrina, but high winds and rain could be devastating to these weather-worn homes.
That's incredible. That's like 4 and 5.
You think your house can take it, all this, one after another?
I think if it was to be a 3, no.
Just look at the damage caused by an ordinary storm system that passed through earlier in the day.
My baby was sitting right here. See all this right here? This happened when she was sitting here.
The drip drip of more rain continues to buckle ceilings all over South Florida, and those tarps can only do so much.
Upset because my job is to provide my children with a roof over their head. However, there's no roof.
Back out live here, you can see the remnants from the last storm, this sign on the ground, and of course, this battered up fence here. At this point, we will be watching and waiting and keeping our fingers crossed. We are live in Country Walk. Evan Bacon, CBS 4 News tonight.
From damage concerns, our team coverage moves to power concerns.
CBS 4's Art Barron is getting answers from FPL tonight. Art, are they ready?
Well, that's the big $100,000 question tonight. You know, another storm is certainly not the kind of news that FPL wants to hear about. It is closely monitoring Gamma right now, and we'll have a better idea of what to expect over the weekend. All of those crews, all of those weeks of round-the-clock work to restore power, and now South Floridians are finding comfort that all is well. But
we may see some outages.
That's right, he used the O word. FPL is now on 72-hour mode, meaning crews are on standby and monitoring Tropical Storm Gamma. FPL says its first priority was to restore power, but not all of the repairs are exactly permanent yet.
Certainly, the system is at a moment right now that we are still doing our sweeps, we're doing cleanup, and any kind of storm that comes our way may have an impact on it.
Not exactly what customers want to hear.
Just more to be concerned about.
Yeah. How about you? What do you think?
I'm ready to move away.
I'm a little bit worried about that, yeah. After all this, time and money that these people spend.
Gamma could take a toll on an already battered power system that is still not 100% secure. About 10,000 poles cracked or toppled during Wilma, some weakened by previous storms.
We're looking at what's developing, and probably by tomorrow we will have a better idea of what kind of impact a storm like this one will have on the system.
And FPL says it could take until January until everything is repaired to pre-hurricane standards. That's the very latest out here in Southwest Miami-Dade. Art Barron, CBS 4 News tonight.
And from Art to those who might be stuck riding out the tropical storm in a shelter, CBS 4's Carrie Codd live in Davie with their anxiety level tonight. Carrie?
Yeah, Rob, this is a story of moving again, waiting and worrying and wondering again if this latest storm will affect this area. 160 people or so moved into this shelter here tonight in Davie, the Police Athletic League. And to say that they are storm fatigued would be an understatement.
Mattress number 1. Yeah, we're going this way until...
There are beds, bags, even bagpipes. But the blues might be a more appropriate musical style for this shelter. Just ask Jenny Romero.
Sometimes I cried. I say, oh my God, well, I'm going to get out of this.
The grandmother from Hollywood is here with her family, 3 grandkids and 2 daughters. She's holding her angel, and that's his name.
He brings the light out of us.
In a situation like this, surrounded by all your earthly possessions stuffed in bags, and word of yet another storm brewing, it is the simple things, a toy for a child, a piece of music, a smiling face that keeps you going. This smiling face belongs to volunteer Danny Torres.
I did a donation and I asked that naive question, what else could I do? And they told me to come in and that was it. That's all she wrote. I've been here ever since.
These folks are weary, tired, worn out, wondering when they'll find a place to live or the money to move. And the thought of another storm damaging their fragile homes and lives is almost too much to bear. Almost.
I just hope and pray that the Lord will see us through. There's got to be a way out.
We are told that this building is very safe and secure in a storm, and they actually have a backup generator should power become an issue. These folks can stay here for up to 60 days. By then, the Red Cross hopes other agencies will step in and make sure they have more permanent housing. Live in Davie, Kerry Cott, CBS 4 News Tonight.
Another concern tonight is what to do with all the debris still lining South Florida streets since Hurricane Wilma. Both Miami-Dade and Broward have been continuously picking up debris over the last 3 weeks, but they may not be able to get to everyone before the end of the weekend. If you still have it sitting outside your home, you may want to start securing it tomorrow.
The upcoming Chihuly exhibit at Fairchild Tropical Botanic Garden will not be taken down in advance of a possible visit by Gamma. Dale Chihuly believes his artwork can withstand tropical storm force winds, so the staff will leave it where it is.
Be sure to stay with your weather station for the latest on Gamma through the weekend. Our team coverage will include Kerry Codd and Dave Malkoff live in Key West. Look for an expanded edition of CBS 4 News this morning from 8 to 11 a.m. tomorrow. And then hourly updates from Weather Control with Brian Norcross throughout the day, all day. And we wrap it up with team coverage.